Hello, beautiful beings. You know, gas is over $4 a gallon. Can you imagine if you had a car that operated on water? Well, there's a bus that operates on water. Let's take a look at it, all right? Shall we? You guys see that bus right there? Bus runs on water? Runs on water? Can you guys believe it? It runs on water. I think that's awesome. Hello, lovelies. Look at the time. You know, it's time for another movie that I absolutely love. Cruella. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see it. Guess where in the world I am? Well, time's up. Let's take a look at this next film, Cruella. This is Dr. Summer. I love you guys. Mwah. Kisses.
All right, your first question is briefly describe the character you play in the film.
So I play Anita Darling, and Anita is a photojournalist who knew Estella or Cruella when she was younger, and then their paths cross again when they're both adults.
Perfect. And then this is my fault. Will you slightly scoot just to your left a little bit so we can drop in that title for this one?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. It wasn't too bad. All right, great. Your second question is, what attracted you to do the film?
What attracted me to the role was first of all, I have always been a huge Cruella fan, from the cartoons to the Glenn Close iterations. I've just loved this movie, and I love the character. I love Cruella's Vil. I think she's always been slightly misunderstood, and having the opportunity to be part of a story that delves a little deeper into her was something that was really exciting to me.
All right, what was it like for you to play opposite Emma Stone and Emma Thompson?
Playing opposite Emma Thompson and Emma Stone was such a joyful experience. I think they're powerhouses, and they're both women that are really at the top of their game. So to be in a film that both of them chose to be in and are passionate about, for me, just kind of was like affirmation that this is a project that is going to have an impact and that is really meaningful.
Perfect. What was it like for you to be directed by Craig Gillespie?
Okay. Being directed by Craig was great. I think Craig really manages to make a set feel fun and exciting. And he's also someone who I think has a very clear vision of what he wants. And as an actor, that's really reassuring, because you know you're in safe hands. You know that the person who is leading the charge is not just sort of pretending to know what they are doing, but you really feel like they know what they're doing. I'm sure Craig would say he was pretending to know what he was doing because it's Craig.
All right, this is a two-part question. First part is, what qualities do you share with your character? And then the second is, what are some of the differences between you and your character?
Okay, so I think the qualities that I share with Anita, or I'd like to think, or like to hope that the qualities I share with Anita is, I think Anita has a unique ability to take people for who they are and where they are in their life, and sort of interact with them without judgment. So that is, I hope, where we have some similarity. I think what I would say would be a major difference between myself and Anita is that I think that I don't know if I'd be able to be as measured in my ambition. I think Anita is someone who understands where she wants to be, and this opportunity presents itself with Cruella, and it helps them both. But I think I probably lean towards more of a Cruella type. I think I'm probably going to go out there and get it a bit more aggressively.
All right. How familiar were you with your character from the original animated and 90s live action films?
Yeah, so I was familiar with Anita from the animation and from the live action, in the same way that everyone was. You know, she was one of the owners of the dog, and she was married to Roger, and so I had that idea of her. But that was kind of the extent of it. And what's really nice about doing an origin story is that you can pay homage to the past, but also add your own flavor now.
All right, and your last question. What, if anything, do you hope audiences take away from the film besides having a good time?
Oh, besides having a really, really good time, I hope with your whole family, or your friends, or whoever you choose to see this film with, I hope what audiences take away is that who we know someone to be and who we quite confidently know them to be is not always who someone is.
So first, briefly describe the character you play in the film.
Horace is a thief and a bit of a scoundrel, and he kind of just does whatever pleases him. He doesn't have many rules he lives by. The only real rule or credo that he abides by is his loyalty to his best friends, Cruella and Jasper.
I mean, I don't think I can say it any better than Paul just did then, to be honest. I guess, yeah, I mean, what can I say to top that? That's basically what my character is also, except possibly quite a bit cooler than Horace, obviously. But yeah, pretty much the same, but just cooler, more clever, more kind of, more up, more ear to the ground, knowing what's going on.
The character, not Joel.
Plus more.
So what attracted you to want to do the film?
Making money, having a blast, laughing and playing pretend on a Disney set. I think that's 1/4 of why I entered the acting business, is to play make-believe and get paid to have a lot of fun and help other people have fun.
Yeah, I mean, that question always stumps me, to be honest, because it paints a picture like I'm sat somewhere and someone goes, "Hey, Joel, do you want to be in a Disney film?" And I'm like, well, maybe I'll look tomorrow. I'll have a look tomorrow. And then I'm kind of drawn to it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll do it. Why not? I'll do it. I was drawn to it because it sounded like it was going to be good, basically. And yeah, I already had good people attached. But luckily, it is actually good, because you never know, do you, until the end.
I felt like I knew it was going to be a good movie early on. I just had an instinct, which I haven't really felt many times other than Cruella and maybe 2 other things. But I thought from the get-go, this was something, if I'm going to do a Disney movie, I'd be very lucky to do this one. This is, the type of Disney movie I would love to do. I want to do this,
So what was it like for you to play opposite Emma Stone and each other?
Emma Stone is really talented. I love her work in everything from Superbad to Easy A to freaking La La Land and The Favorite. I just think she never wastes a performance. She's always brilliant. And to get to play her buddies in the movie, I think we both enjoyed it. It wasn't hard to get along with her and to work with her. She was very easy to work with.
What was it like for you to work with Craig Gillespie?
Craig's awesome. You liked his sense of humor, right? You got it pretty quickly, right?
Great. I liked what I found quite genuinely special about Craig was that the level of concentration was so high. Like, there's a lot of steady cam movements and lots of complex things, and it's all about timing. And you have to be super concentrated on, super focused on what's going on. But then to marry that with being kind of loose and improvising, doesn't usually happen much. Usually it's either quite tense and high focus, or it's really loose and you're kind of making stuff up. But he managed to get both crossing each other and still manage it to be quite a supportive atmosphere. And that's I think that's a special thing with just him, man, because I think he's one of these guys who can just store all this kind of information in his head and has apparently an endless amount of energy. But yeah, at one point, I really felt like I was completely buzzed into his head, like I knew what he was after, and that's great, man. I could have that forever, basically.
How familiar were you with the characters you play from the original animated and the 90s live action films?
I had seen all those movies and thought they were well portrayed, but there isn't enough meat on that bone to really make a meal out of. I think any actor, whether you're playing Hamlet or a president or whatever, like, you can try to look at what everyone else has done, or you can just do your own interpretation and make it original. I say that, and yet, like, I like studied Bob Hoskins, so like I said my take was original, but really I was also just ripping off this other actor. So I don't know, maybe I'm full of it, but I think even though I like those movies, I wasn't drawing from them to figure out how to play Horace, you know.
Okay, the cartoon is great. The film, I don't know if I've even seen it, to be honest. I think I've seen bits of it over the years on the TV. But I've forgotten completely what your question was.
The question was, how familiar were you with the characters you play from the original animated and the 90s live action films?
I think the cartoon, I was super. I think it's like embedded back there, because when you're a kid, you probably watched these things a million times. But the film, not so much. But the cartoon, yeah, I was into that.
What are some of the What are some of the similarities and differences between you and your character?
I have 2 arms. Jasper's got 2 arms. I like my friends. Jasper likes his friends. Jasper plays guitar. Ziggy played guitar. I played guitar. Yeah.
I like being irreverent and breaking rules and being a bit of a pain in the neck. So does Horace. I live a very unhealthy lifestyle. So does Horace. And I'll basically do anything an attractive, creative, funny woman tells me to do, like Horace.
What aspects of the film do you think will most appeal to male moviegoers and Disney Plus streamers?
Yo, dudes are going to love this movie. Rock and roll soundtrack. Emma Stone is a freaking powerhouse actor. There's laughter and there's serious moments. There's action. This movie kind of has a little bit of everything. I think people will really like it. You did say guys, right? Did you say male audience, or did I hear that wrong?
Yeah, male moviegoers.
I think male moviegoers will really like the vibe of the film and the tonality. It kind of feels like a heist movie, you know? It's not just for children. It's definitely also for adults and men and women. And I think Disney Plus, like, subscribers, this is like the movie of the summer, man. This is like the movie everybody's going to be watching, I think.
It's super cool, basically. The way Craig's done it is just super cool. And I don't think anyone can even argue that, really. And that's, you know, across the board. Everybody likes that.
First question, briefly summarize the plot of this film.
Oh, no. All right, hang on. It is a coming of age story of a villain and trying to figure out her journey and who her true self is along the way. I don't know, is that not good? Probably.
Oh, no, that was wonderful. All right. What attracted you to want to direct this film?
I got a call from Sean Bailey, and he said, what do you think about Emma Stone playing Cruella in 1970s London? And immediately I was like, yeah, I'm in. The idea of Emma Stone, I absolutely adore. And then as Cruella, which is such a delicious villain, there's so much to work with there. even though we have very little idea of her backstory. And that setting is just right up my alley. I thought we could do so much with that.
Wonderful. What was it like working with two Academy Award-winning actresses, Emma Stone and Emma Thompson?
Well, they were both holding their Academy Awards while they were working, which was somewhat distracting. No, I'm just kidding. It's like there's such formidable talents, the two of them. They're so masters of their craft. And we're dealing with a tone here with Tony's writing, Tony McNamara, that is very specific, and it can be quite difficult for an actor to do. But the both of them have such enormous range with their work, and they can play that drama and that comedy beautifully, and know where to lean into it and where to lean into the emotion. And it made my life very easy because they're both so talented. And then it was just about sort of modulating their performance with each other, so that to get the dynamic that was just so delightful when the two of them were on screen together.
Nice. Talk about your choices of songs and musical artists for the film.
My choice of songs is that you couldn't really say that it's intellectual. It's much more of an emotional gut instinct for me, and sometimes it comes very quickly, like The Doors with the Baroness getting out of the car the first time, or Nancy Sinatra on Cruella at the Liberties. And then sometimes it can take a while to figure out what it is. It's like the opening song of the film was months before we could figure that out, and I knew there's always going to be a song there. But trying to find something that had enough melody and ran long enough and had enough of that, both like optimism and a little bit of sadness and rebellion in there. It was a little time before we landed on that Supertramp.
Was it at all daunting for you to take on such a big production and the origin story of one of Disney's most vivid and memorable characters?
It's funny. It's absolutely daunting in the sense of like, can I deliver a film that will tonally work, that fits into the Disney brand, that is this wild, exciting ride that you're engaged in and has a real character arc to it. Like, that's the daunting part. The actual physical production for me, that we get worked out with such talented people and production heads, and ultimately, we'll get there. But like, story-wise, we have to make sure it works, and that's the stressful part. And again, we have such talented actors. I know if we can get the story right, they can deliver it. And so the prep in some ways was the daunting part, getting the script worked out.
Talk about the contributions of costume designer Jenny Bevan, makeup and hair designer Nadia Stacy, and production designer Fiona Crombie.
I had such an incredible team that was working on Cruella. It's like, firstly we had Jenny Bevan, the undertaking that she took on, and she came on, with not that much time. I think she had about 3 months to prep this film, and the enormity of it. I'm not sure if she's even done something quite at this scale before. It's like the amount of gala events we'd have, like the Marie Antoinette event, 500 people, full costume, black and white ball, 1970s style that she had to figure out, because it's all period. It makes it much more complicated for finding wardrobe and costume. And then on top of that, she had to do a fashion line for both the Baroness and Cruella. It was just enormous, and it all had to be impeccable. It's like these are two characters in the fashion world, and they would be scrutinized on the screen, and she absolutely killed it. And then for production design, I had Fiona Crombie, who I had met coming off of The Favorite, and she did such a beautiful job. It's like, I think to really place us in that era, and the textures and the detail of of Notting Hill and King's Road and the squatters of that time, like we put a lot of reference there, and just recreating parts of London that didn't exist anymore with those empty lots. and just the palette that she would choose, and the detail of the floral arrangements, and the layers of paint and the layer. It's like, it was just unbelievable. And the craftsman that she has there in London to work with, I think it was just impeccable. And the scale of the sets, the Baroness's House of the Baroness, where she works, is a beautiful set that was designed by Fiona. The Baroness Hall is another massive set that she did, that the detail of all the floors with all the different tiles and the walls and the floral arrangements up the stairs. It's like, it was just endless with her. Again, I can't imagine the amount of time it took. I think she said there's something like 132 sets involved in the show. And then we have Nadia Stacey, who absolutely killed it with Cruella and took it to a place that I couldn't have dreamed of. It's like, obviously we knew we were going to have all of these hairstyles for her, but when she saw how much was going on with with wardrobe, I think she very quickly realized the opportunity that Cruella being in fashion, naturally she would be doing her hair differently all the time. And just the amount of different hairstyles that she had that were like character based, sometimes with the bangs to make her softer looking, or without to make her more elegant. It's like they were all coming from really strong character places, and she did such a beautiful job with the hair and the makeup. How about that?
What do you hope audiences take away from the film?
It's like, I think I love the theme that's going on in the film, with that you have to really embrace your true self. And it's something that she's suppressed, or being told to suppress from a very early age, and goes against that and against your instincts, trying to please other people. And it's not until she really leans into her true self that she flourishes. And I love that message in the film.